I am talking today about the 3 ways to get your kids to care about what they eat. Because we all know that our kids are more willing to eat crap than the healthy foods that we want them to eat. So today, we are going to attack this and we're going to talk about 3 practical ways that you can actually get them to care. I'm Cherise Dalby, certified holistic nutritionist. I work with families and kids to help them through their digestive, emotional, and time management issues. And clearly, I'm also Canadian. I love my hockey. So I'm glad you guys have joined me. We're talking about 3 ways that you can get your kids to care about what they eat. But we need to actually have some real talk here about why kids eat crap in the first place. And the number one reason, there's more than one, but the number one reason is because you feed it to them. Sorry, getting real. Hopefully you guys are okay with this. Yep, because if they're seeing you do it, that's absolutely right as well. If they see you eat like crap, they're going to want that food as well, right? But the number one reason is literally because you feed it to them. You develop their taste buds from the moment they're born, and the moment you start feeding them actual food, you start developing their taste buds. I mean, it's a super hard truth to hear. But we have to be honest with the reason and be willing to change that. And it starts with us. It starts with us. And when we develop their taste buds can abso-freaking-lutely be changed. I don't want anybody telling me, no, my kid they won't eat that. Their taste buds aren't for that now. Don't tell me that. I will not take that as an answer. Taste buds can absolutely be changed, but you have to be willing to put in the work. It all comes down to the parent. So the first thing is it's because we feed them crap. That's the first reason why we eat it. Second has to do with marketing, TV commercials. If your kid spends a lot of time in front of the TV, so marketing is a really big one. When they sit down in front of the TV, most marketers have studied psychology, at least the good ones, and they understand how to tap into our brains and our kids' brains. They know what works. They know how to pull on the heartstrings. They know how to make us want things. They understand it. That's why they're some of the top marketers. And that's why their commercials are the ones that we're seeing. So props to them for being incredible at their job. But then we plunk our kids in front of the TV screen and we let the marketers get to our kids. And they start needing to have these foods and craving certain foods. And all of this can stem from the things that they're seeing. Another reason why our kids want to eat crap is because they crave it, because they're accustomed to it. So junk food triggers cravings. So sugar especially has been proven to trigger the same part of the brain as addiction for cocaine. Did you catch that? Sugar triggers the same addictive part of the brain as cocaine does. That's your kids on cocaine, people. This is something that we have to be willing to take seriously, but often we're like too scared to do anything about it, so we shift the blame. But the number one way we change is by accepting the truth, taking responsibility, and changing it. There's no shame that we've done this to our kids because we didn't know any better. That's okay. But are you willing to do something about it? Okay, so again, why is it that our kids eat crap? First of all, we feed it to them. Second of all, we plunk them in front of the TV so marketers can get to them. And third, they have cravings because we've developed them for them. Okay, so next point, why should your kids care? Like, why should it even make a difference to them? Well, let's talk about the growing years. Growing years, this matters. Your kids are growing. Different things are still developing in them until they're 30 years old. Most of the physical stuff goes until about 21 to 25. That's a long freaking time for our bodies to be working, right? And we go through different stages. And when they're growing like this, they need to care what they're eating because it's going to affect them for their whole lives. That's one major reason why we want them to care. Another reason why we want them to care is because they only have until they're 30 years old to reach optimal bone mass. So it matters because of their growing years. It matters because when they hit 30, they've reached peak bone mass. That is it. You can't build into your bones anymore after you reach 30 years old. So we have to get them to build into their bones now. So when we're old enough to tell them they're going to regret not taking care of their bones, that it's not too late. And on top of that, you want them to care because this is the rest of their life we're talking about. We're talking about not that they're necessarily going to see the impacts of it now. Sometimes you will see you're always going to see some impacts right away if you're willing to look for it. I mean, it can be as obvious as weight gain for your kids, but it can be things like fatigue, lack of concentration, moodiness. Those can be symptoms of not eating well that we don't always pay attention to. But there are massive symptoms that are going to come out later in life. That'll come out through chronic diseases and such, right? That by then it's too late for them to do anything about it. So we need them to care before it's too late. This isn't an image thing. This is a health thing. And that's why I want you guys to care. I want you to care what you feed them because this is their health. And we don't want our kids dying before we do because we taught them poor habits. Now we're always learning. So I don't want there to be guilt on you as a parent here, right? We're always learning. But again, the difference is if we're willing to say, okay, I'm wrong, I'm going to make a change. And will we make that change for our kids? Now that we've kind of established why they eat crap and why your kids should care, let's talk about how to get your kids to care. This is the good stuff, okay? And the first one I'm going to say, if you've followed me, you've heard me say this a million times. You have to educate your kids. What do I mean by that? I mean, tell them why they should care. Don't boss them around with it. I mean, educate them on the benefits of taking care of their body. Not in a bossy way, but in an educational way. How does it help them out? How does it affect their body? Get them listening to my sculpts. I'll educate them for you. But you have to educate them because everybody does better when they understand the why, right? Your kids are into sports. Educate them on how that affects their sports. So make it work for their life. Don't tell them they should care about their sports and so they should do this so they're better at it. So educate them, number one. Second of all, have a conversation with them. Sit down with your kids. Sit down and come up with a plan. You will always hear me tell you the importance of doing this as a unit. It is not you telling your kids what to do for their health. It's you coming up with a plan together after you've educated them and then saying, okay, what are you willing to do for your health? How can we make this work for you? Okay? So you sit down with them and you say, okay, why is it that you care about eating healthy? I've told you why you should eat healthy, but why do you care? How is it going to directly impact you? But you sit down and you find out why it matters to them. So let's say mine would always say when they were younger, they would say it's because they want to run faster. Okay. I'm like, great. That's why you want to? Sure. Let's run with that. No pun intended. Sorry. I'm trying to be funny. So you sit down and you say, okay, you want to run faster. That's awesome. What foods will give you the energy to run faster? And you work on coming up with a healthy list and you say, okay, great. Now, what foods are going to help you afterwards as you're recovering? What foods do you like enough that you're willing to eat afterwards? Great, let's make a list. And now you both have a list and you've come up with a plan together for what they consider are their priorities. You're not here to tell them what their priorities are. You got to listen. It's super important. You might not agree with their priorities, like run faster. Really? But that's fine because that's what matters to them right then. And you can always reassess and come up with a new plan, but they need to feel heard. Okay, that's the second. Okay, so number one, educate. Second of all, sit down and come up with a plan that you can both agree on. So you can try and facilitate, but you have to listen to them. And then the very last one, you got to show them that you trust them. And what I mean by that is I don't want you going off and sabotaging their plan by making it better. Okay? If they say they won't eat eggs after a workout or after their activity, and all they want is like a peanut butter and an apple, then don't sabotage that and bring them a hard-boiled egg because you really think they need the egg. Just start by working with them, because once they feel ownership in it, once they feel that you trust them, they're going to be more receptive to more suggestions. And once their taste buds start to change with even the limited supply of healthy options you've agreed on, you can expand on that. You can expand on it later, guys. It doesn't all have to be right now. But change won't happen if you don't start now, as small as it might be. It's really that simple though, guys. It really is. It's a unit, right? You work together like this with your child so that they're willing to do it. Because that's what you want. If they take ownership now, they're going to take ownership later. So let me do a quick recap. Why do your kids eat crap in the first place? 1, because you feed it to them. Or did at some point, right? Take ownership of that so you can make the change. 2, TV commercials, marketing, that sort of thing. And 3, cravings because of the poor habits that they already have. So why should your child care? Because it affects their growing years. They only have until they're 30 for proper bone health, and it's going to affect them for the rest of their life. So here are your 3 tips. 1, educate your kids. Tell them why they should care, right? Or help them understand it. 2, sit down with them and come up with a plan of how they can eat better and why they want to eat better. Find out from them. Listen, right? Listen and then respond. 3, show them that you trust them by not sabotaging the plan that you guys made together, and just follow it. Let it happen. It's okay, because you can always adjust as they get more accustomed and more in tune and more willing to do it. Well, I hope you guys have found this helpful and had some great information. Bye.